Well, good evening and welcome to Stories for the Cooped Up and Captive. I hope my background singers aren't too distracting this evening. You know, it has come to my realization that I have a tendency to live my life in accordance to a few pearls of wisdom that have been handed down over the millennia. For example, early March, I had gotten started on building a table for our patio. When Corona washed ashore, I decided it would be my quarantine project. Now, the problem is my idea of finished carpentry is using a small chainsaw and a hatchet. I was in serious danger of that table lasting until COVID 2021. At one point in time, when I thought I was in the home stretch, I had to tear it all the way down to the frame and start over again. I was in serious danger of getting just a little bit frustrated until I invoked the words of Alexander Graham Bell, who said, "I have never failed. I have an extensive list of things that definitively do not work, but I have not failed." My dad, he was always one for the classics. "Son, anything in extremes is bad. Son, it's better to keep your mouth shut and let them wonder than to speak and prove that you're a fool." I was 50 years old until I realized those were Dad's redneck renderings of Aristotle and Mark Twain. Or maybe they borrowed them from him. I'm not sure. Now, make no mistakes, I'm one of the most fortunate people you'll ever be able to meet because, one, I was able to work and help people through the middle of the coronavirus. Second of all, I have a wife that I cannot wait to come home to at the end of the day. And third, you're looking at my backyard. I have 120 acres to roam on. But still, I missed getting to go see some live music, stopping by Tyranina Brewing Company and visiting with my buddies after work and taking my wife out to dinner. When I started missing and maybe getting a little frustrated, I thought of Reuben Hurricane Carter from a movie called The Hurricane. It was released in 1999. Reuben Hurricane Carter was a middleweight boxer at one point in time. He was a serious contender for the middleweight champion of the world and a social activist, until he was accused of committing 3 murders in a Paterson, New Jersey bar. In spite of the fact that they did not have a thread of evidence and the arresting officer did not even view him as a convict, as a suspect in the murders, he was convicted and sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences in a federal penitentiary, which is where he would have died, were it not for a young man named Lesra Martin. Lesra read Hurricane's autobiography and started sending him letters. He said, "Reuben, how you doing, man?" Carter's response was, "I'm doing great. I'm winning." Lesra did not understand. He said, "Because if I don't need what they will not let me have, then I'm winning." Now, the first thing we have to do in order to make this story work is dial the drama back about 4 notches. I just explained I'm a pretty fortunate fellow in this situation. Get a little frustrated every now and then. Hurricane Carter spent 20 years in an 8x8 cinder block cell, deprived of the most basic human necessities. But still, if I don't let myself want the things that I know that I can't have, what an amazing source of peace. It also makes me realize that Carter's words were just a Hollywood rendition of the Serenity prayer. Now, I say God. You can insert your favorite deity or no deity whatsoever. But it goes like this: God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Incidentally, thanks to the tenacity of young Lesra Martin, his adoptive parents, and his legal team, after 20 years in prison, Reuben Hurricane Carter was exonerated. When he was released, he was asked for a statement. He looked at the camera and said, "It was hate that put me in. It was love that freed me. If all else fails, keep something moving forward."